If you knew what the movement of this bone unleashes, you'd never stay still. There are people who spend their whole lives trying to align the mind with a dead body. You can repeat mantras, read all the books, surround yourself with crystals and silence, but as long as this part of your body remains still, your reality will stay locked into the same frequency. You feel disconnected, anxious, stuck. But the problem isn't what you're thinking, it's what you're not moving. There's a bone at the very base of your body. It holds an ancestral pulse, a vibrational memory so deep that most people never dare to touch it. And that's exactly why nothing changes. Because you're trying to awaken your energy while keeping the doors locked. This bone has been ignored for generations. But in ancient traditions, it was the starting point for every real transformation. A hidden vibrational portal inside the body itself. Today, you're going to discover 5 precise movements, direct, ancient, powerful. Each gesture awakens a frequency. Each pulse breaks through a blockage. It's not theory, it's physical. It's encoded, and it's closer than you think, right in your spine, where everything you feel, vibrate, and manifest begins. Almost no one talks about this, because it doesn't sell, because it doesn't bring status, because it demands real presence, not just mental presence. The sacrum was named for a reason. It is sacred, not by convention, but because it holds a code that no meditation, no mantra, no book can access. It's the first bone to form in the human fetus, and the last to decompose after death. Between the beginning and the end, it's the one that holds the vibration of existence. But most people keep ignoring it, focused on unlocking the third eye, while the foundation of the body remains frozen, blocking any energy from rising. Today, you'll understand why ancient traditions treated the sacrum as an energetic throne. In Egypt, it was the invisible base of the Jed pillar, a symbol of vibrational resurrection. For the Toltecs, it was the drum of consciousness, the point that beat the rhythm of presence. For Hermetic masters, it was the hidden root of embodied manifestation. And here's what's most surprising. Science is starting to confirm all of this. Conscious pelvic movements activate the flow of cerebrospinal fluid, stimulate the vagus nerve, balance the limbic system, and restore blocked sensory perception. This is not a nice idea. It's real access. When you move the sacrum the right way, the body responds clearly. Your energy field vibrates differently. Reality adjusts. 5 movements, 3 minutes a day, and your vibration begins to be felt by the universe as a command, not as background noise. Before the mind was glorified as the seat of consciousness, the body was seen as its original home. In many ancient traditions, gesture came before word. People didn't speak to the gods, they danced for them. Wisdom wasn't found in books, it was found in rhythm, in breath, in the way the body inhabited space. Wisdom was embodied. In Stoic philosophy, we find a powerful clue. True order doesn't come from the outside, but from inner mastery. Seneca taught that the body must be in harmony with the flow of nature, and that a simple gesture, done with presence, can restore the soul's balance. For the Stoics, emotional stability began with breathing, with walking, with posture. It was a spirituality with vertebrae. Afro-diasporic cultures carry this understanding at their root. Vibration begins at the ground. Spiritual strength moves from the hips. The body is not a stage, it is an altar. These traditions didn't separate the sacred from the physical. They knew that the greatest portals aren't found above the clouds, but below the navel. In Taoism, the belly is the microcosm. The lower dantian, located exactly in the region of the sacrum, is the starting point of inner alchemy. It's where the vital breath is born. It's where raw energy is transformed into refined consciousness. This wisdom wasn't forgotten because it lacked value. It was silenced by a world that discredits anything that can't be explained through logic. But it still lives in the body, in those who still dare to move, in those who still hear the gesture before the thought. For a long time, saying that a simple movement could shift states of consciousness was seen as mysticism or madness. But today, science is beginning to catch up with what the ancients already knew through the body. Recent research in somatic neuroscience reveals that movement of the sacrum directly influences the flow of cerebrospinal fluid, a vital liquid that circulates between the brain and spinal cord. When the sacrum moves with intention and rhythm, this fluid is pushed upward, stimulating areas linked to perception, intuition, and emotional balance. This pulsing also affects the vagus nerve, one of the main communication channels between the body and the brain. Consciously stimulating the vagus nerve reduces cortisol levels, regulates heart rate, and activates states of deep presence. In other words, by moving the center of your base, you change your internal chemistry, and with it, your external vibration. Joe Dispenza has already shown that body-based practices, synchronized with intention, can induce advanced neurochemical states, activating the pineal gland and reorganizing mental patterns. Somatic neuroscience, through names like Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen, reinforces this perspective. The body holds cellular memories, and movement is the key to awakening them. So what once seemed like a simple tribal gesture is, in fact, a neurological code, a movement capable of opening consciousness through biological pathways. Movement isn't just physical. It's chemical, electrical, vibrational, and science. Even without calling it spirituality, it's beginning to say the same thing. The first practice is simple, yet it carries ancestral intelligence. It activates the foundational flow of your energy and prepares the body to receive more refined vibrational instructions. Step 1. Horizontal 8. Stand with your knees slightly bent and your feet aligned with your hips. Begin drawing the shape of a sideways figure 8, an infinite horizontal using your hips. Don't overthink it. Feel the curve. Let your body show you the rhythm. This gesture unlocks stagnation patterns stored in the pelvis and psoas. When practiced with deep breathing, it creates a kind of energetic loop that reorganizes your vibrational foundation. You can do it for 2 minutes in silence with your eyes closed. Notice how, little by little, the tension begins to dissolve and the mind starts giving way to sensation. Here, the body stops being inert matter and becomes a pulsing field once again. Step 2. The vertical pelvic wave. Keep your feet where they are and shift your attention to gently tilting your hips forward and backward, like a wave rising and falling. There's no stiffness, only flow. This movement activates the sacral to pineal axis. As you move the base of your spine in this vertical rhythm, you send cerebrospinal fluid upward toward the brain, stimulating areas associated with presence, clarity, and a sense of unity. Practice in slow cycles, integrating your breath. Inhale as you tilt your hips forward. Exhale as you bring them back. It's an internal dance, a subtle command, a code your biology recognizes effortlessly. With the base in motion and the vertical axis activated, we now enter a more subtle zone where movement becomes memory and the body begins to remember what it is. Step 3. The silent inner spiral. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Close your eyes. Bring your attention inward to the center of your pelvis, and then, without visibly moving your body, Begin to imagine a spiral turning inside your pelvic bowl, as if the center of your sacrum were breathing in circles. This practice accesses cellular memory. It reorganizes forgotten vibrational patterns and activates deep neurological zones linked to instinct, intuition, and the sense of energetic safety. Do it for 3 minutes. It doesn't matter if you feel something right away. The code is being read, and the less effort you make, the more your body responds. Step 4. Rhythmic pulsation with the breath. Sit or lie down comfortably. Place your hands at the base of your abdomen, just above the pubic bone. As you inhale, gently expand that area outward. As you exhale, let it return to center without forcing it. Now introduce a pulse. As you exhale, lightly contract your pelvic floor, as if giving a subtle upward push. This micro-action, synchronized with the breath, creates a vibration that travels up the spine and activates some motoneural circuits connected to perception and your personal energy field. This practice deepens internal listening. You begin to feel the body not as matter, but as field. And within that field, everything starts to reorganize. The first time Samuel felt the ground vibrate beneath his feet, he wasn't in a temple. He was in his bedroom. Lights off. Body slouched after another day of trying to seem okay. He wasn't looking for an epiphany. He just wanted to fall asleep without the weight on his chest. Something pushed him to get up. Without thinking, he played a repetitive, deep beat, the kind you feel in your gut. He started moving his hips slowly, almost unintentionally. It wasn't dancing. It was a silent search, ancient, born from exhaustion and curiosity. After just a few minutes, he noticed something different. His breathing shifted. The mental noise stopped, and in place of the confusion, a warmth began to rise, moving up his spine. He didn't understand it, but he didn't want to stop either. In the days that followed, he returned to the same movement. He added the vertical wave, then the spiral, then the pulsation. He didn't know the names. He didn't know the techniques. But his body seemed to remember everything. In a short time, anxiety gave way to presence. Doubt turned into listening. And that inner silence, which once felt like emptiness, became pure presence. Samuel didn't become enlightened, but he found himself, not through a mental insight, but through a movement only the body knew how to make. The biggest obstacle isn't the technique, it's conditioning. You were trained to believe that transformation happens from the top down, through the mind, through logic, through understanding. That's why, when you come across a simple body-based practice, part of you doubts. Does this really make a difference? Is that all there is to it? It doesn't feel deep enough. But that doubt doesn't come from your inner wisdom. It comes from your addiction to complexity. The body doesn't need to be convinced. It just needs to be heard. And more than that, many resist because they're afraid of what they might feel when they move this region. The pelvis is where we store trauma, shame, memories the mind can't access. To awaken the sacrum is also to awaken what's been stored away. The solution isn't to avoid it, it's to soften into it. Start small, 1 minute a day. Let the movement open the path. No pressure, no expectations. And remember, your body hasn't forgotten how to heal. It just needs space to remember. What has been revealed here isn't knowledge to be filed away. It's an invitation to be felt. Because the body you live in holds codes. Your mind will never decode on its own. And among all the centers that support your existence, the sacrum is the most overlooked, and perhaps the most essential. You no longer need to force alignment with the universe. You just need to move in the right rhythm, in the right place, with the right awareness. It's in that movement that your vibration shifts. It's in that movement that reality listens. This practice doesn't require blind faith or complex beliefs. It requires presence and a willingness to return to the base where everything begins. And when you return, something clicks. Something pulses differently. The body stops being a burden and becomes direction. Between knowing and living, there's a portal. And that portal begins where your feet touch the ground and where your sacrum begins to pulse. As Gaston Bachelard once wrote, the body is the first home of the spirit. To move the sacrum is more than a practice. It's a reactivation. It's the moment when spirituality steps down from theory and returns home. If this content stirred something in you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. It helps us spread this message and bring real awareness to those who are ready to awaken. In the comments, write, "When I move the sacrum, my reality responds." This phrase anchors the practice, affirms the vibration, and activates the field around whoever writes it. Share this video with someone who needs to get out of their head and back into their body. Someone who might be seeking clarity, but hasn't yet moved where it all begins. Click on the screen and dive into another transformative video here on the Transcend channel. Because when you awaken the base, the entire universe finds a new place to begin.